So we love having David Icke with us, and he's coming to the United States in late September and early October. Check out more at davidicke.com. He'll be in California 3 dates only, twice in Santa Clara on the 27th and 28th, and once in Los Angeles. Again, details at davidicke.com. David, of course, those will always sell out, folks. You better get tickets now. Don't wait till the last day and then whine and scream about it. That's part of the good thing. David can sell out 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 person ballrooms now. And you know, going back decades ago, maybe 5 people would show up. But that's because, and really, isn't that the power we have, is that we saw it. Nothing special about us. We just saw behind the curtain a little bit earlier than other people, and have gone deeper down that rabbit hole. You know, probably deeper than me in some respects. And then so much of what we said came true exactly as we said it would. And so people are really paying attention now, David.
Yes, they are. And you know, but I just want to keep emphasizing, you know, with the major audience that we're back talking to now, that we really got to start moving from just understanding more about the game and the situation we face to doing something about it. There are billions of people being manipulated along this road. There are a relative handful of people at the core in full knowledge of what they're doing who are actually doing the manipulating. We do not have to go down this road if we wake up, first of all, to what's happening and then start to react to it. I remember, Alex, it was a movie, an animated movie some years ago called A Bug's Life. For people who don't remember it, it was about a small group of grasshoppers who controlled through fear a massive group of ants on a place called Ant Island. And they got these ants all the year to gather food to give to the grasshoppers when they come once a year to fetch it. There's one scene that was so encapsulating of what we're talking about here. The grasshoppers were in like their winter quarters in some tree or other, and they had all the food they needed. And the leader came along and said, "We've got to go now to Ant Island." And one of the smaller guys said, "Well, what do we have to go to Ant Island for? You know, we've got all the food we need. We don't need that food. What do we need it for?" And then he stood up and he made a speech about the facts of life. If you are the few and you need to control the many. And what had happened in a previous scene is one ant, the last time they went to Ant Island to get the food, had stood up and challenged what they were doing and questioned what they were doing. And he said, basically, it's not about the food. It's about keeping them under control. And this was the line I remember. There's a few of us, basically, and there are enormous numbers of them. We need them more than they need us, and if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. What we need to do now, Alex, now we're gathering this understanding of what's happening, is to figure that out. We do not have to be controlled by the few when we are the vast majority. What happens is we're divided and ruled. We fight among each other on religion and politics and income bracket and culture and country and all these things.
And the enemy facilitates that, even in our own truth movements, patriot movements. They send in the people to create dissent, who then stand back and go, I've not done anything. I'm being persecuted. So they get those fights going. So I think it's important to ignore those fights and move forward with issues. In fact, we played that clip many times here on air years ago. John, see if it's still on the computer. It's where he says, "Hey, boss, why do you care about one ant?" He goes, "Listen, they outnumber us 100 to 1, and if they ever figure that out, it's over for us."
Yeah, and that's what we need to figure out now. Because at the moment, what's happening, you've got this pyramid, you've got the few at the top who are doing it, you've got the vast majority at the bottom who are being manipulated, but also in that middle sector, you've got people who are fundamentally important to the agenda unfolding and playing out into society who don't know the extent of the game they're playing a part in. And they have children, and they have grandchildren. I've talked to some in the last little while, and they're now starting to go, hold on a second, what are we actually installing here without realizing it? And if we can get to those people, the pyramid starts to malfunction.
Exactly. Stay there. David, well, let's continue behind the scenes for Infowars.com stream listeners only. We'll be right back for everybody else. Please stay with us. I just don't want to waste any of this time. John, can you find that clip? I'm looking on YouTube.
I'm trying.
I used to play it like 8-9 years ago, and I've heard other shows play it here on the network, so you might look in some of their files. I forget the shows. I think I've heard it on Dave and Joy's shows and on J.C. Clayton's show and some of the others. So just look in there and see if you can find that for folks. Okay, David, let's continue. I mean, I'm glad you're focused in on this because, but you're so deep in the understanding, and I understand tens of millions in the U.S. and hundreds of millions, maybe even a billion worldwide are somewhat awake now, to a deeper understanding. But I think we need to continue trying to broadcast with the new mass of people we've woken up. If they continue the process of just trying to get the mind controlled zombies to be taken out of the matrix pod, then we can go to the next level. So I think we should simultaneously resist and say no, 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 and get others to say no, 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 but continue to inform and educate and expose.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying stop putting the info out and let's do something. No, no, no.
Oh, no, I know you're not saying that. I was saying that for us.
Yeah, I know. But they have to be simultaneous. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And because there are still enormous amounts of people who are still solid gold concrete asleep. It's just the numbers are getting greater. But those who are awake, those who are beginning to see it, and no longer in denial about it, they're the ones that are now got to say, oh, okay, what do we do about it? And it's one of the things I say in my talks, no more excuses. There's no more excuses. Look in the eyes of your children and grandchildren and tell them your excuses. We now have to get seriously active and organize this non-cooperation with this system, because if we don't cooperate, it can't function.
Absolutely. Let me see if this is the clip right here. For some reason, it's not playing on this computer.
I have it.
Oh, wait, we have it. We'll play it when we come back. I got obsessed with that.
Great, yeah. It's just so powerful. It says so much in a few words, really.
Yeah, I've actually got it up on screen, too, for folks. So we're also on TV at prisonplanet.tv. David, things are accelerating at every level, and the evil, even though I consciously knew that they were going to do this and I intellectually knew all this would be happening, it's still amazing and shocking to be here and to see the awakening happening that we foresaw and that you foresaw.
Oh, it's extraordinary. I'll tell you what, Alex, my experience just now in Croatia last week just took me aback. I didn't know whether I'd landed at an airport or a space station on another planet because, I was all over the mainstream media. Their version of the BBC, I was in the main news magazine. There was a 2-page feature in the main...
Stay there. We're coming back live. I want to hear about this. Sorry to interrupt. We have to go back live to the full audience. Here we go.
Okay, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Play the clip whenever you want, John.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1.
But we're not puny little ants. We're human beings made in the image of the Creator. We are amazing, dynamic creatures. Stop groveling in the dirt for jewels and goblets and cars. Start caring about liberty and freedom. That's what generates all that wealth. That's why the enemies of freedom came here to take it over. The birthplace of modern liberty, England and the United States. The Rothschilds took over there in 1815 totally, and they've taken over here in 1913, and they are running us directly into the ground. David Icke, for the behind-the-scenes folks that were listening at Infowars.com and watching on PrisonPlanet.tv, you started telling a story of landing in Croatia, and it was like you were at a spaceport. It's the same thing. I'm sent photos every day in Russia, in Germany, in Czech Republic, in Japan, bridges with Infowars.com on it, Australia. And then I go on Russian TV, Iranian TV, other foreign TV, Japanese TV comes and interviews me, and it's like they're falling over themselves going, oh, everyone loves you in our country. Oh, everyone is waking up to the New World Order. May I have your autograph? And it's presenters on TV. And I'm just one guy in this, so I can't imagine what happened to you in Croatia. Tell us about it.
Well, it was just incredible. I mean, you know, you put this information out, and then you put more information out the next day, and the more information out the next day, and you don't really understand where it actually goes, and the rate that it's picked up around the world. And I went into Croatia and not knowing what to expect, and like I said, I didn't know whether I'd landed at an airport or a space station, because it was like a different planet, you know. And what it was, Alex, it was a glimpse of what could be and would be, but for the suppression of information in the mainstream media. Because I was on mainstream television with being interviewed by mainstream journalists that read my stuff and are aware of the information. I was in the main Sunday newspaper, 2 pages about the information, in which the writer said, having seen it put together, I think it's right. I think there is a global conspiracy. I think this is happening. Mainstream journalist. I was in their version of Time magazine called Globus magazine. Again, 3 pages about this information. And I was just everywhere, and not because of me, but because the information, people are just can't get enough of it.